squatters' rights. Have you heard about squatters' rights? Squatters' rights. Okay, check this out, because this is crazy. A squatter is basically someone who unlawfully occupies an uninhabited building or an unused land, right? So it doesn't mean that that building or that land isn't owned by somebody. It just means that it's uninhabited or it's unoccupied. There's nobody there at the moment. So what a squatter does is the squatter decides to pack their bags and move right on in and make it home for themselves, right? Live there, sleep there, eat there, use the bathroom there. And check this out. If a squatter stays in that uninhabited place or that unoccupied land for long enough, in New York specifically 30 days, if they stay in that place for at least 30 days, they are granted squatters' rights, which means that they can stay there as long as they want up until the lawful owner of that space decides to go through the legal procedures to get the squatter evicted. And this happens all the time, right? It happens within families. It happens with strangers when they let somebody move in and they don't pay rent on time. The landlord never files a complaint or writes an eviction notice. That person is allowed to stay there because they have squatters' rights, right? And it's crazy. So I thought about that, and it gave me like an epiphany. What I realized is that, yeah, squatters and squatters' rights, it typically refers to people living in spaces that they don't really own. There's also a metaphor. There's also a metaphor that also applies to life. Think about this. How about the negative thoughts and the negative mentality that we carry occupying our mind like it's not supposed to? See, we're supposed to own our mind, right? We have the power to think positive or think negative, look through a positive perspective or look through a negative perspective. And if we're not being diligent, if we're not standing guard at the doorway of our minds, what's gonna happen is negativity is automatically gonna fill that empty space. See, we gotta be the landlords of our mind. And if we're not being optimistic about our lives, if we're not being purposeful with our lives, if we're not allowing ourselves to project positivity into the world so we can therefore receive positivity in the world, what's going to happen is that negativity is going to take over. Self-pity, low self-esteem, doubt, fear, worry, envy, jealousy. These are all negative emotions. These are all negative squatters that will move in and occupy the space of our mind if we're not paying attention, if we're stressing all the time, if we're always complaining, if we're always arguing, if we're always looking for the flaws in other people rather than looking for reasons to like them, reasons to connect with them, reasons to build and bond with them. If we're not doing these things, what's going to happen is negativity is going to take control. It's going to captain the ship of our mind. It's going to be so hard for us to recuperate from that, because once we allow negativity to occupy our mind for long enough, negative emotions, negative thought process, negative mentality, and negative energy, once we let it occupy our mind for long enough, it's going to get squatters' rights. And what that is basically a habitual behavior in which we constantly revert to negativity. Our first response to any circumstance, to any person, to any occurrence in our life, it's automatically programmed to react from a negative point of view because we've allowed the negative squatters to take possession of our mind, and it's got squatters' rights, and we have to go to war. We have to go 10 times harder so that we can work on ourselves, so we can rebuild our confidence in ourselves, rebuild our self-esteem, re-identify ourselves with our value, reconnect with positivity and our purpose and a vision of our future. See, it's those visions of a better future, it's the ambition, it's the identification of your purpose that gives you the positivity in your spirit, gives you the ambition, gives you the passion, and also gives you the optimism that you need to continue to move forward. But the people that are struggling the most are the people that have allowed negativity squatters to rest in their mind, to take over their mind. The doubt, the envy, the jealousy, all these negative emotions. It's been nothing but a whirlwind magnet of negativity. They're putting out negativity and it's coming right back to them because they got squatters. They got negativity squatters captaining the ship in their mind. They're not in control. See, they own their mind. They're walking around. You're walking around, right? You have your mind. It's your body. It's your mind. But even though you are the landlord of it and you're the owner of it, you weren't standing guard at the door and you weren't paying attention to who was coming in. And next thing you know, you got these negative thoughts at the forefront of your mind, of your domain. And that's where everything in your life is being attracted to and operated from. So now you got to work hard You got to read these books. You got to listen to these audios. You got to get around these positive people, successful people. You got to watch these inspirational videos, read these inspirational quotes so you can reboot the system in your mind to start projecting positivity, start attracting positivity, and making sure that positivity is the first responder to the circumstances, events, and people that come into your life. So I'm telling you now, you may be in a place where you've already allowed negative squatters to get their rights in your mind. I'm encouraging you to work adamantly, work purposefully, work aggressively at getting that out, transitioning the paradigm of your thinking so that you're not operating from a place of negativity, but you're operating from a place of power, a place of positivity, a place of encouragement, a place of hopefulness, right? You got to make that transition. And for those of you who are on the right path, you already feel positive. You're waking up, you're energized, you're excited about the day. Great. Continue to stand guard at your door, because you know what? Negativity will always be knocking. Negativity is always looking for a home. But the stronger your mind is, the more firm you stand and guard the door of your mind, the less likely it is for negativity to even get inside to take a tour of what's going on in your mind. So if you feel like you've been negative lately, if you feel like you've been envious of other people, jealous of other people, putting out negative energy, being doubtful of yourself, having a low self-esteem, shake yourself out of that. Just realize that the only reason that's happening is because you've allowed negative squatters to take hold, to get rights to your mind. And it's time for you to fight so that you can evict these negativity squatters. You got to evict them out of your mind and let them know that they're not allowed to come back. So let's evict the squatters. Let's evict the negative mindset, the negative emotions, the negative energy, so that we can get back to living the life that we deserve to live and becoming the best versions of ourselves like we're destined to become. Let's grow.